Look at this, there's a bump right.
This is Protect the Den, produced in Orem, Utah, and found on YouTube, Twitter, and all podcast locations.
White, oh my, swords in, major steal it.
Here are your hosts, Jarod, Ivins, and Brice, Larson.
We welcome you into this week's Protect the Den. We're very excited to be here. I am, of course, your host, Jarod Ivins, alongside
Brice, Larson.
Now, just to get started so you don't think we're weird, we both bought these shirts.
Oh, yeah. Last week, I was wearing that shirt.
His shirt, though.
But it's a different shirt.
This one's mine.
And then the same color of shirt Jarod was wearing last week.
They had a sale. So, yeah, don't think we're just sharing
we're not
shirts.
Yeah, we're not.
But anyways,
swapping
however
shirts.
you're joining us, whether that's on Twitter, YouTube, any podcast location, we are very glad and we're very excited for today's show. We're kind of switching things up a little bit with how we're going to do the show going forward.
Yeah, we are. We're switching it up a little bit. We're going to do less of recaps. We're going to do more of our own thoughts, really.
Yeah, and that's what we wanted originally.
Yeah, and so now we're going to see how this one goes. We've also got a couple new props on set. Got the flag behind us. I like it. It's a nice touch.
Yeah, we're trying to add more and more to the set each week. Get more little knickknacks. This week we got my old high school tennis racket.
I like it.
Did you know you could play third singles JV in high school tennis at Cottonwood? I didn't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, for our show rundown today, we're going to give you our headlines. We're going to go over this week's brand new Wolverine of the week. Talk about Kobe Bryant and the terrible passing of him and his daughter and the 7 others that were killed in that deadly accident. We're going to compare who has the greatest Mamba mentality and who is most like Kobe Bryant on UVU teams right now. Go over who we think UVU's biggest rival is and how we think we can increase attendance at UVU games, and finish it off with our bold predictions.
So we have a great lineup for you today, but how about we jump right into the headlines?
Perfect. Let's see it, Brice.
All right, men's basketball. Huge 73-69 win on the road at Grand Canyon on Saturday. You know that this was the first time that UVU's won at Grand Canyon since 2014, since they've been in the WAC.
That's crazy. It's 2020.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's such a hard place to play at Grand Canyon.
We've seen what they've been able to create in that environment, which we'll
Great
talk about
atmosphere.
in a little bit. But
yeah. Anyways, they're 9-13 overall, 3-4 in the WAC now. They're, TJ Washington led UVU with 24 points. Isaiah White had his third double-double of the year, and Emmanuel Japoke had 4 blocked shots. So really an all-around great team effort by the Wolverines.
Everyone
in that win down
played
Grand
super
Canyon.
well. Yeah, it was awesome.
They will play California Baptist tonight, Wednesday, January 29th at 7 p.m. You can watch that on the WAC Digital Network, or you could just show up at the UCCU Center and be loud.
7 p.m. You need to be there. All right, second headline. Women's basketball. They played at California Baptist today. It was this morning at 11 a.m. our time, Mountain Time, and they lost 80-67. So they're 8-12 overall. Now, after starting 5-0 in WAC play, they've dropped 3 consecutive back-to-back games. You remember last week, 2 games ago, they had a tough buzzer-beating loss. We were there that game. They played really well. It was awesome to see the intensity that Dan Nielsen had.
Yeah.
But a really sad way to lose last week. They were up by 4 at halftime today, and they did not hold on to that lead in the second half. Jordan Holland led the way with 20 points and 14 rebounds, and she went 11 for 12 from the free throw line. So a really great game from Jordan Holland. Like we said last week, she surpassed that great record of scoring. She's continuing it today.
Yeah, and, Elementary Day has not been kind to the Lady Wolverines. They've lost both times. They had Elementary Day in Orem last week when they lost that game. Now at Cal Baptist, they also had Elementary Day today. And they lost. So we'll try and get away from the elementary days.
The kids are not bringing good luck.
The women are going to get rolling again, I promise.
Yeah, Dan Nielsen, he did it earlier in the season. He's going to do it again.
Yeah, he will.
They'll respond.
All right, track and field. Larry Still and Adrian Jones named WAC Athletes of the Week. Jones set the fastest time in the WAC in the mile at 4:40 14
It's incredible.
and took gold in that event.
It's incredible. That's so
That
fast.
is awesome. Still shattered the UVU record, the UVU school record, in the pole vault by nearly a foot. He cleared by clearing 5.30 meters. It's 100. Okay, that's 17 feet.
That's
4
incredible.
inches. Yeah.
Yeah, he leads the WAC this entire season. He's now ranked 16th in the nation for that pole vault.
That's a big one. He leads the WAC this season. That's crazy. But congratulations on that school record.
Yeah, way to bring home those gold medals, guys. That's incredible. And being named WAC Athletes of the Week is really incredible. A big
Anytime
honor.
that you have it, yeah.
And we've had some great Wolverines that have been named these high prestigious awards in the WAC this year. So we're very excited and proud of them. Moving on to wrestling, Taylor Lamont named Big 12 Wrestler of the Week, which is also really incredible considering how competitive the Big 12 in wrestling has been this season. We broke that down a couple episodes ago. In other news and headlines for wrestling, Matt Finley is out for the season with an injury. He had a breakout year last year, going 17-4 on the season and had a trip to the NCAA championships. He was recovering from injury and then re-injured, and he'll be out for the rest of the season. So we're very sad for Matt. All right, jumping into this week's brand new Wolverine of the Week. This is obviously our favorite segment.
Oh, yeah, I love this segment.
This is something
especially this week. I don't know. I feel like it's more special this week because of who it is and where this person has come from and how their career with UVU has gone.
Yeah. And this week's Wolverine of the Week is no one else other than Bradley Kitchen. Congratulations, Bradley. We're very excited for you and how that happened. It was an incredible journey that you've had. And let's check out this video that @GoUVU tweeted on Twitter as you receive your scholarship this week.
We have an announcement. There's a serious announcement. Brad, you've been busting your tail.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
Shit. You have earned yourself.
Bradley, that's pretty amazing.
What a celebration in the locker room, man.
It looks like they just won the
videos.
WAC.
I love those videos. You just go in and you get a scholarship. You get a scholarship. Everybody gets a scholarship.
Can we get one?
I don't think so.
For what?
I'd love a scholarship.
They wouldn't give us one for anything.
Congratulations, Bradley. He is a senior this year.
Yeah.
He's from Springville, Utah. My man was the manager on the basketball team.
Yeah.
Walked onto the basketball team. Now look at this. He's got a scholarship. Congratulations on all of your hard work and everything that you've put in. This one actually is probably my favorite Wolverine of the week.
Good. That's really awesome. Yeah, you're joining elite company, the likes of your coach and other coaches at UVU and other amazing athletes. So now we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about the unfortunate and terrible passing of Kobe Bryant that occurred this week on Sunday with his daughter, Gigi, and also 7 others, including a college baseball coach and his wife and daughter, and obviously the pilot, all of these families that were affected. And, for me, Brice, this affected me more than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Growing up, I hated Kobe Bryant. He was the reason I went to bed crying so much when he'd beat the Jazz. But now, this week is more emotional and more going to bed crying, but this time for obviously the exact wrong reasons.
Yeah, and it really was sad. This was one of those days where it's like, we'll look down the road, we'll say, where were you that day? Where were you that day when Kobe passed away, when that terrible accident happened? Also, the thing that has gotten me so much is that how many young people were on that helicopter.
Yeah.
Sure, it had Kobe Bryant, and everybody is saying, Kobe Bryant has passed away. We're all sad. Everybody's sad about that. What I'm more sad about is his daughter, Gianna, and all of her teammates as well. She had already verbally committed to go play basketball at UConn, and she's 13 years old.
Yeah.
So she had a great future ahead of her, and that was all taken away because of, we don't exactly know. The investigation's still going on. But all because of, a sad incident that happened.
Yeah.
So that's what really hurt me. Not as much as, Kobe had a great life, had a great career, had, beautiful family and everything going for him. And that's really sad that it was taken away. But I think it's more sad that Gianna got all of her future dreams taken away. And then her brother, her sisters, her siblings have to grow up knowing that their dad and sister passed away.
Yeah, it's terrible for the family. And you think of the other girls as well.
Yeah.
All of those on the plane, they're not going to be able to go to college.
Right.
They're not going to be able to get married.
They're not going to be able to have a boyfriend and be able to
have
do
fun
things
in high
that
school,
teenagers
do the things
do.
that they were already doing and planning to continue to do. It's really terrible. And many UVU players and alumni were affected by this terrible tragedy. We know Ronnie Brice, former UVU Wolverine and in the Hall of Fame for UVU. He played 12 seasons in the NBA. One of those seasons he played with Kobe Bryant. He was on the same team for the 2014-2015 season.
Yeah, and it's got to be so hard. Along with, Mark Madsen, of course. Mark Madsen was a coach. He also played for the Lakers.
Yeah.
Played with Kobe, and then also he coached Kobe. So he was really close to him, and it's just really an unfortunate circumstance. And it's super hard to see these people who actually knew Kobe, not just his fans. All of his fans are heartbroken, but those people that had the personal relationships
They
with
saw him
Kobe Bryant
every day.
who knew who he was,
Traveled with him.
and how great a person he was, actually.
Yeah. And going off on that, this is what Mark Madsen had to say on the passing of Kobe Bryant.
I have a lot of different emotions and feelings, but I think the biggest one is just I feel so sad for his family because Kobe loved his wife and daughter so much. So much. He lived for his family. And it's a hard day. It's a hard day. He lived for his family.
Truly a terrible event, and we can see it physically was hard and very emotional for Mark Madsen to go through that, and that's something that obviously affected him and affects him. Affects all of us.
His whole family, too.
Definitely, because they were around that environment.
His wife and everybody. It's really sad.
Exactly. Well, moving on to our next topic, we're going to talk about Kobe and his game now and how that is shown in the players that play at UVU today. So, Brice, which player in your mind is most like Kobe Bryant that plays for UVU?
For me, it's this topic is, it's hard to say because Kobe Bryant was so unique on his own.
Yeah.
Such a unique player. It's hard to say, okay, yeah, this person plays just like Kobe. But in certain aspects of the game, you can see how Kobe has rubbed off on these younger generation players, how they all idolize him. They always say, when I was younger, I would imagine myself playing against Kobe or with Kobe or being Kobe.
Reenacting Kobe with the fadeaway on the court or in the halls, however it is.
All of the above. But the one player that plays for UVU at this time that I think is somewhat like Kobe, I can't say he's exactly like him, but one who reminds me of Kobe would be Isaiah White. And the reason being is because my man Isaiah, he knows how to take over the game when UVU needs him. This guy knows how to put the ball in the bucket. And the reason why I think he's so much like Kobe is because he's so well-rounded. He can drive to the lane and get a bucket in the paint. He can step out and hit a three. And that well-rounded ability of Isaiah White to be able to play that kind of basketball, just all-around basketball, I think that's what reminds me most of Kobe on the floor right now in Orem.
Yeah. For me, when I think of Kobe Bryant, I think of maybe not his moves per se. He had incredible footwork or the fadeaway jump shot that he killed with so many teams. He won games that way. But when I'm thinking of Kobe, I think of that Mamba mentality that is now more prevalent than ever.
Right.
Of that go and get yourself a bucket mentality. And when I think of that, the person I think of is T.J. Washington. T.J. Washington, when it's time that UVU is in need of a bucket, he will get that for the team. Mm-hmm. And I say for the team, not for himself. We saw it when UVU played UTRGV. He got that bucket.
Right.
Isaiah White was the one that got the layup, you remember.
Yep.
That game-winning layup. But TJ had the ball in his hand, went
Floor
all the way down the
general,
court.
would you say?
Yeah, 100%. And that's how Kobe was. He was in charge of the court. He knew where his players were. He always didn't give the ball to them, but he did when it mattered most.
Right.
We saw it throughout the years with Shaq. He would lob it up to Shaq, perfect timing, or then transferred to Pau Gasol, and then moved into different generational players. Mm-hmm. But at this time, I think that is definitely T.J. Washington.
Yeah, I could see that, T.J. Washington being that guy who is the floor general. He's the man, but Isaiah White, he's the guy you want the ball in his hands for that last shot. Yeah. And the Lakers, when Kobe was playing, Kobe was taking the last shot.
Didn't matter if he missed it or made it. He was going to take the shot.
He was going to take the shot. And then, every once in a while, if it wasn't there, he would, if he was double guarded, double teamed, he'd throw it off to someone who's open. And in that way, I could see as well.
All right. Shifting gears a little bit for our third topic today, we're going to break down who we think UVU's biggest rival is. We've seen this.
Is it BYU?
No, it's not.
No, you don't think BYU?
It's not.
The reason why, probably because they don't play. A couple years ago, they played in basketball.
They played last year at the Marriott Center in Provo, and we've seen BYU and UVU play occasionally, and that's honestly who I would prefer is UVU's biggest rival.
That would be awesome. Proximity is the one thing that makes rivalries so intense.
Well, look at Duke and North Carolina.
That's exactly where I was going.
How far away are they?
Duke and North Carolina, that's a huge basketball rivalry. Yeah, you could say football. We probably don't see a lot of it just because they're not prevalent football teams.
Yeah.
But their basketball rivalry is one of the biggest rivalries in the nation. And then you have, even with BYU and Utah, sure, they're not in the same conference, and that's kind of what UVU and BYU should emulate, is what I believe. Now, the reason being I think that they haven't scheduled more games is most likely because UVU did beat BYU that one season.
Yeah.
And now they're kind of scared that, hey, BYU's getting this good team. They're starting to, get a little bit better. Do we really need that on our resume to have a bad loss? It's not a bad loss, but
it's not a quad 2 or a quad 1 loss that they could play in this preseason before they get into the conference tournament.
So there's nothing really to play for when BYU plays.
Yeah. Looking at it for
Except that,
we can go in there and beat them.
It's one of the greatest UVU basketball games I've ever seen is when UVU plays against BYU.
Yeah, the distance between Chapel Hill and Durham, 11 miles. The distance between UVU and BYU, 3.4 miles.
Yeah.
It would be the craziest rivalry, in my opinion. You look at UVU, the highest
Give them a trophy, man.
Attended.
Create a trophy. Battle for the valley. Battle for the county. I don't care what you call it.
Yeah. Well, UVU is the highest attended school in the state. BYU is not far behind it. They both have over 30,000 students. That would be so fun to pack either one of the stadiums, UCCU Center or the Marriott Center, and have this fun rivalry that's played every year.
Love it when BYU comes to the UCCU Center because
doesn't happen often enough.
The most attendance that it has for a basketball game each year, when they used to play. It's
been a while.
It's been a minute, season or two.
So if BYU is the ideal rivalry for UVU, who is their current rival, in your opinion?
Well, their current rival, it's hard to say current rival because you want to say New Mexico State, but a rivalry requires winning on both sides. UVU's struggled to beat New Mexico State. Anybody's struggled to beat New Mexico State.
They've been dominant over the last couple years.
They're so good. So I'm going to go with Grand Canyon right now as the biggest rival for UVU just because of recent events that have happened. Grand Canyon, their fan base is passionate about their basketball.
They are, and we've definitely seen what they've been able to create down there in Arizona. They packed that stadium completely full.
They say it's the biggest party, the greatest party in basketball, and I don't know. They definitely have a claim.
Yeah, they do, and we've seen what they did on Saturday when UVU went down there to play them last week. They had a paper with UVU players' names and backgrounds and info on them, which caused a lot of controversy among the media and upon some fans and players for UVU. They were shouting very personal, even
information.
private information, which can be crossing a line in circumstances.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if any UVU fans or students know about that.
Do they know? How many of the students actually know that the basketball team went down to Grand Canyon and won?
And won. The first time since 2014 and winning, and who's talking about it on campus? No one.
Exactly. And the thing that gets me is that this is the biggest university in the state of Utah, yet the basketball attendance just isn't there.
It's the smallest in the state of Utah.
Yeah.
Weber State, SU, they have more attended games than UVU does.
So what do you think? This is kind of shifting into a new topic here.
Definitely.
What do you think about the attendance with UVU, and how do you think UVU can up that attendance?
Well, what I think about it is it's pathetic. The
It's
attendance that
not
they're
the best
getting
I've seen.
is not what they deserve. Not what Mark Madsen deserves, not what these players deserve. They're putting in hours and hours and hours a week, every day to perform to their best ability, and they're putting themselves in situations to win. Yes, they lost at home to New Mexico State, but they had a chance. They had a chance to bring within 10 or 9 within 3 minutes left. And imagine a different environment creates it so much harder for those teams to come in and win. Mm-hmm. They beat Grand Canyon, and they have a chance with these new players and new coaches to do something great, but no one's there. So the biggest thing, obviously, to building attendance is winning.
Yeah, winning will do a lot for you attendance-wise. One thing that kind of I've thought about as well, there's a lack of students that go to the game. There's not a lot of students that go. Now, that might be because there's, we've talked about the proximity to BYU. A lot of these UVU students are BYU fans. They've grown up BYU fans or Utah fans because they have the bigger athletic programs. But when you go to a school, and I think the biggest thing that students want is fun. They want these games to be fun. They want them to be able to, and the students get in for free, which is something nice. Not all universities get.
Well, both the University of Utah, the MUS, and BYU in the Rock, they have to pay for their passes.
Yep. And
UVU gets in for free with their ID.
Yep. UVU gets in for free to the games with their ID. So, I mean, all these students, I think the biggest problem is on-campus housing. There's
that's what I was
a real
gonna say.
lack of on-campus housing.
What
It's
percentage?
more of a commuter school. But, I mean, when you have 40,000 kids are going to show up if you're winning.
100%.
Is what I'm saying.
And if you schedule good enough teams that they want to come.
Yeah, and that will come if you continue to win, you make a splash, you make it to the NCAA tournament, you build that program, then you can start scheduling these teams that will want to come to Orem.
Yeah.
They'll have kind of some incentive to go. And it will help their resume, it'll help UVU's, and they'll be able to up the attendance. Now, the biggest thing that I can think of as far as students go is something that I've suggested for a few years. Give them a half a credit for a semester. Somehow you got to track it. I know Alabama tracks their attendance through an app where you can check in, and then you have to check in during the game at periods of time.
Is this for students or is this for anyone?
This is for students.
Okay.
This is for students.
Well, we saw Nick Saban get really mad at the Alabama students for not coming to the games.
Yeah. Just they're so bored of winning.
Earlier this season, what do you want? You want a good game, or you want to lose? They're dominating every team by 40 points.
No one's going to show up.
Next thing you know, LSU comes in and trounces them.
Yeah.
It's a little bit off topic, but...
So what I'd suggest, half of a credit per semester that students come. If you go to all the games, you get full credit. Just make it a class you can enroll for. 5,000, make the class size. I don't know. Something like that. It's something that could... Because right now, an automatic fan base would absolutely give this team a jump. Men's and women's.
Yes. Both of them are struggling with attendance. It's not just winning that's the problem. They're winning some games, or they're putting themselves in big games.
There's been some great games. UTRGV on 2 Saturdays ago.
Game winner.
Yeah, there was
Huge.
only probably 300 people at the game.
Yeah. The UVU women's game last week where they lost to Cal State Bakersfield.
Another great game.
Great game all the way down to the wire, and they lost to Eastleigh, hit a game-winning buzzer beater. Not necessarily a good game for UVU because they lost, but an amazing game for basketball fans. And Brice, my biggest thing is the housing. What percentage of UVU students live in Provo? They live closer to BYU, or they live in Lehigh or they live up in Salt Lake County, they already travel down for classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They don't want to stay for a game Friday night or a game Saturday.
Well, that's the thing. If they're traveling down for classes, give them half a semester credit, and they're going to travel down for basketball games.
We've seen it with some schools, and you can take a student activities class. You can get credit for playing basketball. You get half a credit every semester. Why not going and watching basketball? Make it a little different.
Why not make it a party like GCU? Kind of, emulate it like that. And make it just this fun thing where students can go and relax and get to know each other. I walk through the halls at UVU each day. I don't really know many people.
Maybe recognize some people you went to high school with, but that's about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's some ideas that need to be pushed towards the athletics program where they can start building that student fan base and have more school pride.
Definitely. All right, on to our last topic for today. We're going to go over our bold predictions from last week and give you our bold predictions for this week. And so far, Brice, we have been struggling.
Yeah. We're still 0 for.
It's a bummer.
We're goose egging right now.
My bold prediction last week was that Emmanuel Olajupoki will have 4 blocks versus Cal State Bakersfield. He did not.
Yeah. But he did have 5 versus UTRGV. You just chose the wrong game.
And he had 4 against Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
So I was close.
Yeah, you're on the right track, but I told you it wasn't going to happen.
Okay.
Mine from last week, I definitely thought the women's basketball team was going to pull through for me because I was sick of getting let down by the men. So
maybe you need to make bold predictions not on anymore about things. You should make them on something completely different. I don't know. Are you bringing bad karma?
I'm gonna go with wrestling next week.
We got to get them to win.
Women's basketball. I said they've only scored 75 points or more in a game in 4 games this season. So what I obviously said was they were going to score 75 or more points in their win against CSUB, and I might have jinxed them because they only scored 53 and they lost 55-53.
Yep.
And that ended their 7-game win streak. So I apologize, women's basketball.
It's his fault. Blame him.
Yep. I chose you, and I'm
you let him down.
I'm used to getting let down, but I probably jinxed them as well. So we're both in this together. Let's talk about this week. Let's keep our heads up. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna pull out with the win.
My bold predictions for this week: UVU men's basketball will win both games. They play Cal Baptist tonight at home, and they play Seattle University at home on Saturday. So UVU will go 2-0 this week.
At home.
And it's huge in conference play. We've seen how the WAC is pretty close. Those middle 4 or 3 teams.
The middle of the pack teams, very close, and it's going to be great for seeding as well in the WAC tournament.
Because right now some of them are 4-3, like Seattle's 4-3, UVU on the other end is 3-4. You win that game on Saturday, you win tonight, and you win on Saturday. Suddenly it's 4-4. We're talking a whole different seeding going into the tournament in just a couple weeks. What about you, Brice? What is your bold prediction?
My bold prediction. Utah Valley University, they average 14.3 turnovers. This is the men's basketball team I'm talking about here. 14.3 turnovers per game this season, which is quite a bit. Their opponents are averaging 13.
13.5 a game.
So it's not too much of it, but it's still 14.5 turnovers per game. It's quite a bit. In their win against Grand Canyon on Saturday, they only had 8 turnovers, and that's actually been a key to their winning this season is being under that 10 mark. My bold prediction is that in both of these next 2 games,
not just one,
but both of these next 2 games, they're going to stay under 10 turnovers a game.
Okay.
Whether it's win or lose, they'll be under 10 turnovers a game. I believe that's something that Mark Madsen and this men's basketball team has been working on this season.
Yeah.
They're going to be under that 10.
It's fundamentals.
Yeah.
You know, that's something huge. That's kind of a mental game as well. You got to be able to take care of the ball, know where you're passing it, dribbling it to.
If a team scores a 2-point bucket on every turnover you have and you're averaging 14 points or 14 turnovers a game.
28 plus.
Yeah, that's 28 plus.
Can't give them those second chances, those third, fourth chances to get those buckets.
Right.
All right, jumping once again into our headlines for this week. Men's basketball on Saturday had a huge 73-69 win on the road at Grand Canyon on Saturday. 9-13 overall, 3-4 in WAC play. It's their first win in Grand Canyon Arena since the 2014 season when they won the regular season championship.
The Rowdy Havocs.
TJ Washington led UVU with 24 points. Isaiah White had his third double-double of the year, and E-Man Olajupoki had 4 blocked shots. They take on Cal Baptist tonight at 7 o'clock at home. You can catch that in person.
Show up.
We're not telling you where to watch it.
We just talked about attendance.
Please go.
You need to get out. Let's go. All right, women's basketball just barely played today at Cal Baptist. They lost
Another school
80
game
to 67, and once again we talked about another elementary game. Didn't go well for them. They're now 8-12, 5-3 in the WAC. After starting 5-0 in conference play, they've lost their last 3 games.
Brutal little stretch they're on.
Yeah, so they need to flip that back around. I'm sorry I jinxed you once again, but go Lady Wolverines. They'll be back in action on Saturday, I believe, at Seattle.
Yeah. Track and field, Larry Still and Adrian Jones were named WAC Athletes for the Week. Jones set the fastest time in the WAC this year and ever in the mile at 4 minutes and 14 seconds. That's incredible.
Yeah, that is.
He won gold in that event.
That's hauling.
And he also
4 times around that track.
It's an incredible time. He also won gold in the 3,000 meters. Larry Still, he shattered the UVU school record for the pole vault with an incredible 5.3 meter pole vault. That's 17 feet 4 inches.
Yeah, I obviously didn't know how to say that earlier in the show.
It's all right.
I got a little mixed up.
We'll forgive Brice. That leads the WAC all season, sets the record for the WAC, and that is the 16th in the nation. So we're very excited and happy for Larry Still and Adrian Jones. Once again, the WAC Athletes of the Week.
Yeah, I'm just going to go on record here and say a couple weeks ago I promised that our math was going to be better, but it obviously hasn't improved.
Maybe our math has gotten better, but it's not our
just the numbers game.
Pronunciation.
Man.
Yeah, we're
the
struggling
numbers
with
game.
We got to go inside the numbers a little bit more with these teams. Maybe that'll help us.
Let's jump into wrestling. Taylor Lamont named Big 12 Wrestler of the Week. Huge accolade for him.
Yeah, incredible.
Big 12 is an absolutely wonderful conference to be in for wrestling.
Very prestigious.
Love being that affiliate.
Very competitive.
Matt Finley is out for the season with an injury, though.
Yeah, he had an incredible season last year.
It's such a bummer because, injuries really just, they're not
They
fun.
suck.
They suck.
They really do.
They do.
He was 17-4 last season with a trip to the NCAA championships.
Yeah. Big wrestler for UVU.
Yeah.
And it's just a big loss. So hopefully the recovery path is good, and we wish the best for Matt Finley and his family as well.
We're very grateful for however you joined us today on this wonderful show. Whether it's on any podcast location, on YouTube or Twitter, however you're seeing this or occupying it, we're so grateful, so excited. Once again, please comment, subscribe, rate us, leave us honest feedback because we're trying to grow this show. We're trying to grow the awareness of UVU sports. Like we broke down today, we need to increase attendance at basketball games. We need to increase attendance at all sports in general.
If you have ideas about how the athletic department can be able to promote sports,
yeah,
just throw them at us.
Definitely.
Let us hear it.
Anything you want to see on the show or that you'd like us to do, please let us know as well. And we're very excited. Once again, we're grateful for our production crew as well as those that make this possible. And we'll see you right back here next week. Until then, protect the den.